Welcome to part two of my Fantasy Premier League first draft. We've finally reached midfielders. We've finished goalkeepers and defenders. Go and look at the first part if you haven't seen it. And let's get going. So I've picked Aubameyang. Switched to a midfielder this season, obviously. He is expensive, 12 million. One of only sort of two 12 million players, I believe. Um, so three 12 million players, with Mane and Salah being the other two. Scores a lot of points. Now, I've gone for him for a couple of reasons. He does play well in the Premier League, scores a lot of goals, could end up being a central striker, depending on how Arsenal set up. Briefly before anything, he would have gained an additional 32 points, I think, this season just from being a midfielder. Last season, just from being a midfielder. So that immediately puts him back up towards that top level of players. He'd have broken, he'd have been nearly at 240. There's one or two good opening fixtures for Arsenal, but I mean, the fact that he's 12 million allows me to rotate with City and Man United players. I'm never going to have a problem swapping them. But we'll see how we go with that. Probably going to captain or vice captain him, try and maximise the points. But we'll see how we go. Next up, we've got Maddison. Now, I initially did throw some players in a team. I had some ideas, not necessarily anything fixed. And Grealish was an idea I had in my head, but with the blank on game week 1 when the fixtures were released, I just thought, no, I'm not doing this. So I've put Maddison in. He's a placeholder for me at the moment. Really, I would like a 5.5 to a £6 million midfielder. Someone who's going to play every week or will sit well on the bench, possibly from one of the promoted teams. Haven't really decided because I want to save some money somewhere, and this is a place where I think it's going to be. That's simply it. He's there to make up the numbers at the moment. Probably won't stay. Next, Salah. What do you say about him? He's a great fab player, isn't he? He's fantastic. He's part of everything that Liverpool do. Again, 12 million. I think there's a thing here where they've priced Liverpool players ever so slightly higher because they won the league. De Bruyne scored 20, 18, 19 more points than 18 more points, I think it is, than Salah, yet he's £500,000 cheaper. So I really do think there's something going on with Liverpool won the league, so they're more expensive. But, I can rotate him with De Bruyne. So that's why I've put him in. He's there, it gives me cushion. I can move him in and out. I can captain him if I want to. He'll probably stay there most of the season. I can't see him coming out unless he goes through a really sort of bad patch or gets injured for some reason. So Salah, 3 of 5 for me midfielders. Next up, San Maximin. I mean, this guy sort of burst on the scene, didn't he, at times last season for Newcastle. He's a bit of a gamble. But he's had a season. And if you look at the points that he scored, the most important bit, firstly, is he only played the equivalent of 20 games. So he scored 92 points in 20 games. Now, if he plays 38 games next season, or somewhere close to it, he could prove to be the signing of the season. You could end up with a points per million spent of somewhere close to 20. I'd like to, you'd expect him to do at least half of what he'd done again, so perhaps the 130, 140 point mark if he has a good season. If if Newcastle do sign a striker, it could help him. He may end up shunted to a striking role, who knows? But I would expect him to do okay. And at 5.5 million, he's my kind of wild card signing. If it pays off, it could be really, really good. Otherwise, you're just going to get a player who plays every week in an average team and could get some good points for it. So we'll see where that one goes. But he's in there for now. Couple of good opening fixtures. I think 3 from 4 are against sort of similar types of mid-table sides, lower end. So we'll see where we go with that. And the next one is Souček, West Ham. This guy's everywhere, isn't he? He's like was mentioned in all these videos on YouTube, and everyone seems to be looking at him. 3 goals, I think it was last season. Signed in January. West Ham put a bit of form together last after lockdown. Could just be the type of thing they need. Apparently did it at his previous clubs. But he's 5 million. And you've got to economise somewhere, haven't you? He's a solid stats for the time played. It's as simple as that. You have to economise in certain areas. This is one of them. My slight concerns, West Ham don't have the best opening fixtures. But again, there's every chance he might not start in my team. He might be on the bench, so we'll see where we go with that. But I think for midfielders, I'm quite happy. There will be some changes because I'm not totally sold on it. I want some money for elsewhere. But we'll move on to strikers next because this is somewhere where I've just managed to get sort of people in, but I know I'm not finished with it. And finally, we get to the end. Forwards. Strikers. Now, I'll be honest, I feel this is probably the most difficult part of FPL this season. They're either dead expensive or low price and you're gambling. Even the expensive ones are a gamble because they're overpriced. As you can see, going from left to right, I've got Timo Werner, Jamie Vardy and Ryan Brewster. Now, Vardy, 10 million, 200 points last season, 210 points last season. You know, 21 points per million scored. If we go on expected value, that's good, but it's expensive for a striker. The people you might think would be obvious swaps, you might go $1 million cheaper on Martial at Manchester United, but first off, he's not playing game week 1, so if you pick him, you're carrying him. Secondly, he's moved from a midfielder to a striker, which means he immediately loses somewhere around 30 points, and his expected value could drop to about 18, which is not shocking. It's better than Harry Kane, but it's not great. So I'm unsure here. I've put 2 big hitters in because I can put them in. So I've got Werner, assuming he hits the ground running. Brighton away. I think Chelsea first game of the season. Okay, it's a Monday night, but Chelsea paid 48 million for this guy. If he's fit, for me, he starts. And you know, you've got to hope that Jamie Vardy's going to do what Jamie Vardy does. You know, I mean, they're away to West Brom. The guy could score a hat-trick on the first day of the season. If he hits the ground running, he could just fire it in. So I am thinking of sticking with them for this first week. Otherwise, I kind of wanted to get somebody like Wood from Burnley in. The guy's consistent, 10 goals a season, couple of assists, plays every week. You know, he represents solid value, doesn't he? But I can't afford him. So I've ended up going for Ryan Brewster because I had just enough money to fit him in. But this is where my extra money will probably shift from midfield to up front so I can get a 6 million striker. I am going to mention Ryan Brewster in another video I intend to do, because he could be of interest if certain things happen. But I'll leave that for now. So anyway, we've got Werner, we've got Vardy. I'm not sure about where else to go with this. I know a lot of people are talking Ings. I'm not going there. I have my reasons. I might do a short video on that. So at the moment, we're sticking with it. My current squad is worth 99 million. If I can move the midfield around and get a better striker, somebody like the Fulham forward, his name escapes me at the moment, Mitrovic, he could be worth a punt. There's a couple of lads at Southampton, but I already have 2 Southampton players in my team. I'd like to avoid going up again. The lad at West Ham, he's played well last season, Antonio, but he again, I think he was listed as a midfielder last season. So his points are excellent because he was a midfielder. He got more for scoring, he got a clean sheet bonus. So I'm not sold on him. We'll have to wait and see. It is one place where over the next week I really need to go at it and try to get that last couple of pieces set. So thank you again for watching. I hope you found this informative and interesting. I did, actually. I've found it good talking through things. I already know some of the problem areas that I've got. I'm hoping to put out another 1 or 2 videos before the season starts, and then try and do a once a week kind of a deal so that I can show what points I got, changes I might be making, and see where we go from there. So thank you very much, and bye for now.